Today we visit Lave Beds National Monument near the California-Oregon border. More weird volcanic activity, and more evidence that national monuments may secretly be America's real hidden treasures. We had big plans on day 75, but we left time in the morning for two things around Burney, California that the lady at our hotel mentioned to us. First was a side road down to a place called Hat Creek. Supposedly, bald eagles nest in this area. Hat Creek actually begins in Lassen Volcanic National Park, to the south of here. This was a great little area, and I did indeed see birds flying way in the distance. Was I about to capture some great bald eagle photos? Now, before you mock me, remember that I was quite a ways away and my camera was way zoomed in. I didn't know until later whether I'd captured bald eagles or not. The close-ups prove, well, not exactly. Oh well. It was a nice effort and the area was spectacular, but our presence probably wasn't really helping out the people fishing. Hat Creek continues north and empties a few miles away into a reservoir called Lake Britain, which is our next destination because of a very unique landmark. This bridge on Highway 89 crosses Lake Britain. After it, you go under this train bridge. Trains no longer use it, but if you turn down a little side road, you discover a third bridge, which is a special remnant of the old train line here. 1980s movies fans may recognize this bridge. It was the one in the 1986 movie Stand By Me. If that's not your thing, try the video for Aerosmith's song Living on the Edge, also partially shot here, but featuring somewhat less of a plot. The drive to today's NPS site went through a lot of different landscapes, a wonderland of obscure mountain valleys, undulating forests, and friendly-looking little towns. As we entered Modoc National Forest, things were getting sort of strange. The landscape couldn't decide if it wanted to be thick forests or desert scrub brush. Even the clouds looked like upside-down mountains. I took it all as a sign. Today's destination is going to be unique. I got even more excited when we ended up on a road with no lines on it. Always a good omen. When we arrived at Lave Beds National Monument, I got out of the car as usual to jump around the sign. And the photos don't capture it, but it was very hot and I was dodging all kinds of bees the whole time. I ran back to the car. The visitor center is instructive and the staff were helpful. We learned that lava beds is evidence of a different kind of volcanic activity, and it is indeed unique. And the visitor center warned of some fierce-looking creatures. Outside, on a drive around lava loop behind the visitor center to see the views, I was glad that the bees had been swapped for something less frightful. But it was still hot. There is a way to escape the heat here, and it's a dramatic one. There are several ice caves, which is when cold air goes down into a cave and only the warmer air drifts back upward. We chose Skull Cave, a spooky climb into total darkness down steep metal stairs. It only took 5 minutes to reach the floor, but it was at least 60 degrees colder than outside. Freezing. Literally. Ice indeed coats the walls and ground. Back outside in the hot car, it was several minutes before we actually felt warm again. Lava Beds is one of those places where there are constant opportunities to pull over for new views, and they're all worth it. Point your camera anywhere and just shoot. Everything is unusual and photogenic. Towards the north part of the monument, you enter a big field of jumbled volcanic rocks. This is another remnant of the slow lava flows that created the landscape here, in contrast to the violent explosive outbursts of other types of volcanoes. The relaxed ooze of the dozens of lava flows that have occurred here is why Lave Beds National Monument is characterized by gentle slopes and gradual changes in topography, like Gillem Bluff on the left here, maybe my favorite prominence in the park. Native Americans of the Modoc tribe called this area home for 10,000 years. In the 1800s, settlers arrived and forced the Modoc to move up to the Klamath Reservation in Oregon. A band of Modoc objected and returned to Lave Beds. Under their leader, nicknamed Captain Jack, they stayed and fought the U.S. Army for several months. People on both sides died. General William Sherman, of Big Tree fame, even called for the, quote, utter extermination of the Modoc. Eventually, the U.S. Army was victorious. Captain Jack and a few others were executed. But as for how the Modoc put up such a fight in this harsh land, we pulled over to an area called Captain Jack's Stronghold, where it all went down. You can buy a great little booklet, $1 on the honor system, and walk the trail among the volcanic rocks where the Modoc men, women, and children hid, lived, and shot at U.S. soldiers for 5 months. And the booklet doesn't pull its punches. The cultural identity of an entire people was lost here, so settlers could graze a few cows. Just beyond Captain Jack's Stronghold, you leave Lave Beds and enter the Tulelake National Wildlife Refuge, a spot for migratory birds, and the striking Castle Rock Formation. And just after that, you go back into a separate little section of Lave Beds National Monument called Petroglyph Point. The gigantic volcanic cliff here features several petroglyphs whose meaning is still unknown. To be honest, I was just impressed with the weird rock itself. It had been a full day, another spectacular national monument which has sort of become this trip's secret treasure. We drove westward just under the California-Oregon border on a volcanic legacy scenic byway which goes by Lower Klamath Lake. We were about to enter a new state. Ask anyone who's known me a long time. I've always had a thing for Oregon. I imagine it as a land of endless low mountains covered in dark green trees and shimmering lakes. But I'd never been there, so I was thrilled when we turned a corner and crossed the state line. Oregon is the final new state on this trip, and the only one on the entire journey that I'd never been to before. First impressions? Well, Oregon's welcome sign game, best of the trip, no question. Second, the scenery was beautiful right away, these soft green yellow fields and attractive hills and picturesque water. Our room was actually an apartment in the city of Klamath Falls. Nice to have a whole place for a night, even if we didn't feel like taking advantage of the kitchen. Blood sugar was excellent though, and dinner was from a pizza place next door. After the day's experiences, it was easy to drift off to sleep in a new area I'd always dreamed of visiting. Tomorrow, my own personal bucket list checklist continues. If you know this area, you can probably guess where we're going next. Another of America's very best views, Crater Lake National Park.